Imagine you find the perfect apartment after weeks of searching, the landlord is ready to sign, but at the last second he suddenly rejects you. Or you want to open a bank account, but instead of approval, you get rejected again with no explanation. These things happen not because of your income, not because of your job, but because of a mysterious company you've probably never heard of. And this company is even more powerful than the government. They can even declare you dead and freeze all your accounts, even though you're still alive. Who are they and what do they know about you? More than you think, that's for sure. So, who is this mysterious company? It's called Schufa, short for Schutzgemeinschaft für allgemeine Kreditsicherung, which translates to General Credit Protection Association. And no, it's not a government agency, it's a private business. Its owners are mostly banks, retailers and service providers. And these owners, they're not just shareholders, they also feed Schufa with data. Every time you open a bank account, sign a phone contract, order something online or miss a payment, that information flows straight into their system. So their job is simple. Schufa collects and shares information about how trustworthy you are with your money. With a database covering more than 68 million people in Germany, basically every adult, it's the largest credit agency in the country. Their reach goes far beyond what most people realize. If you live here in Germany, Schufa is watching you, always. They collect data on you, score you, judge you, and decide whether others should trust you. So now you might be asking yourself, is this even legal? And that's a really good question. And Schufa matters, but real financial security goes beyond just your credit score. So if you're serious about financial planning, making your money work smarter, we'd be happy to talk. You can book a free meeting with us right here. The short answer is yes, Schufa is legal. It's a private company, and its work is based on clear laws. Every time you open a bank account, apply for a loan or sign a phone contract, you usually agree to the famous Schufa clause, giving them permission to collect and share your data. On top of that, they claim a so-called legitimate interest to protect their business partners from people who might not pay their bills. German and European law allows this as long as your rights don't outweigh those interests. And this is where it gets messy. Schufa's practices are constantly being challenged in court. The European Court of Justice recently ruled that Schufa's automated scoring, where an algorithm alone decides your trustworthiness, may actually break EU data protection rules. And just this year, a German court decided that Schufa can't store paid debts for years anymore, and they had to pay a massive fine of 1,040 euro and 50 cents. So while Schufa operates within the law, some of their methods are on very shaky ground. And with every new ruling, their future looks more uncertain. But one thing is certain, they already have a file on you. What's inside? First, the basics. Your personal information. They know your name, date of birth, and every address you've lived at. Even old addresses stay in their system, so they can trace you across the years. Next, your contracts. These aren't just negative records. Schufa also tracks so-called positive data. That means bank accounts you've opened, credit cards you use, mobile phone contracts, leasing agreements, and even mortgages. If you pay on time, this information can actually improve your score. But then come the red flags. Schufa also stores negative data, missed payments, unpaid bills, cancelled loan, collection procedures, court orders, entries from the debt register, and even insolvency proceedings. Once something like this is in your file, it will haunt you for years. And they don't stop there. Schufa also keeps records of inquiries. Every time a bank or a company checks your file, it's locked. Some of these inquiries can even lower your score if they look like you're applying for too much credit at once. Surprisingly, Schufa doesn't collect your salary, your savings, or your exact bank balance. They don't record your nationality, religion, marital status, political opinions, or social media activity. Schufa doesn't care how much money you have. They want to know if you pay your bills. And that brings us to the mysterious Schufa score. This score is basically a prediction, a probability value that says how likely you are to meet future payments. The exact formula is a tightly guarded secret. What we do know is that Schufa compares you to statistical groups of similar people, and your behavior is measured against theirs. The result is recalculated every 3 months, and the number you get from 0% to 100% will decide your financial future. A score near 100% means you've seen as very reliable. 94% might sound great, but it's not. And if you drop much below 90%, your life becomes quickly much harder. Critics call the system a black box, and for good reason, because it affects your life in huge ways while you have little insight into how it's created. Luckily, that may change. Schufa has announced a reform for 2025, promising a more transparent point system from 100 to 999 based on 12 clear criteria. But until then, the reality is simple. Schufa is quietly judging you, and the only way to really know what they think about you is to request your so-called Selbstauskunft, your personal Schufa report with the link in the description. That's where you can finally see your score. And once you know that number, you can actually start to do something about it. Because here's the good news, you're not powerless. There are clear steps you can take to improve your score and protect your financial reputation. The first step is checking your own data. Mistakes happen more often than you think. Almost every second credit report contains errors, and wrong entries can drag down your score for years. Maybe an old address is still linked to you, or a bill you already paid is still marked as unpaid. By law, you have the right to demand corrections, and once the error is fixed, your score improves immediately. That's why requesting your Selbstauskunft isn't just about curiosity, it's about taking back control. Second is the most important factor of all: payment discipline. Always pay your bills, credit card balances, and loan installments on time. Even one single missed payment can turn into a negative entry if it's reported after the reminders. If you know you have trouble paying, contact your bank or provider early. Believe it or not, but showing responsibility before a problem escalates can prevent a negative entry. Third is how you handle credit. Having a credit card or even a small overdraft facility isn't bad. In fact, it signals trust from your bank. But constantly maxing out your credit lines and juggling too many small loans will hurt your score. It's usually better to consolidate debts into one larger, manageable loan than to scatter them across mini credits. Stability is the fourth factor. Fewer bank accounts, fewer credit cards, and long-term relationships with your bank all count in your favor. The same goes for contracts. Constantly switching providers or moving apartments too often can make you look less reliable in Schufa's eyes. And fifth, while mortgages are a huge financial burden, ironically they will help your score. Because if a bank trusts you with hundreds of thousands of euros, that sends a strong signal of reliability. So, clean up your file, pay on time, borrow responsibly, and aim for stability. Improving your score won't happen overnight. Schufa only recalculates it every 3 months, but over time, these habits make all the difference. Because if Schufa is going to judge you anyway, you might as well give them every reason to trust you. They may be the secret agency that can ruin your life, but only if you let them. Thank you for watching und bis zum nächsten Mal.